Okay, we're live.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I guess I'll just start then. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to, I almost said coffee break. Welcome to our Habitat Newburgh live stream regarding Women Build Week, which takes place next week. I'm joined here by Amy, our wonderful operations manager. Say hello, Amy.
Hi, everyone.
And also our wonderful AmeriCorps member, Gabby. Say hello, Gabby.
Hello, everyone.
So you guys probably remember Gabby when I made her introduce herself on our virtual coffee break at the beginning of her AmeriCorps term, like at the very beginning. And now we're coming up, which is crazy to me, about halfway through Gabby's AmeriCorps term. So how have you been enjoying your term so far, Gabby? Tell us a little bit.
I've loved my term so far. So I've been here since the end of August and am slated to be here. My term's supposed to end sometime in July. While I wish I got to interact with so many more volunteers on site, it's still been an amazing experience and exactly what I had hoped doing a year of service through AmeriCorps with Habitat would be like. Everybody is so nice. I feel as if I've made a lot of mistakes on site, but have learned from those, which makes me feel a lot more confident and capable. So all in all, I've had a great experience thus far.
Awesome. That's what we actually paid Gabby to say all those nice things. Um, no, but Gabby has actually been involved with volunteer work and service work, before she joined us for AmeriCorps. That's correct, right, Gabby?
Correct. Yes.
So, what I want to talk about before we start talking about Women Build Week, I would like you to maybe talk about when you got started and what are the benefits of getting started in volunteer work at a young age. How has that benefited you throughout your developmental growth as a professional?
Yeah. I've volunteered, I believe, since I could even remember. My parents are very much involved in volunteer work with our church back home. And then in my school, they always volunteered. But then my mom and brother actually went on a 2 week long habitat trip to West Virginia when I was in eighth grade, I think. And I really, really wanted to go. And they told me that I was too young. That was just the affiliates. I was too young to go and do anything. But when they came back, they just said so many positive things and raved about it that from then on, I was like, I need to do this. I want to do this sometime when I can. So all throughout high school, I did other different volunteer work like tutoring. I was a big sister in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. But then going into my senior year of high school, I got the opportunity to go on a mission trip to Walls, Mississippi and Memphis, Tennessee for 2 weeks, where I actually got to serve many different diverse populations. I got to work with people all across the age spectrum, from kids at summer camps to elderly people. So that experience was really eye-opening for me about how important service is and how it really does fill up your cup, seeing how you can help other people just by even being present. So after that, I got involved with my university's chapter of Habitat for Humanity, and I've been on 3 different spring break trips for Habitat, and I've worked with over, I think you guys are my 6th Habitat affiliate that I've worked with. So yeah, that's kind of how I got involved in service and how I hope to continue being involved in service. Sorry, that was kind of long-winded, but
No, I mean, it's good to touch on all those things. It seems like you've done a lot of work, which I mean is really good to highlight. It sounds like, I've been with Habitat Newburgh for like 5 years, and I think you've done more work with Habitat than I have in my 5 years with the organization. So, yeah, uh, it's super inspiring to hear you talk about that, and I think that I, you know, I know I personally fell in love with the things that we do, and I didn't really know too much about Habitat when I started working for the organization. So I think like the younger you get into things like that, the more it can really change your perspective and the way that you look at things. And if you ever want to do something that involves helping people, um, I I think that Habitat is a great way. to do that, especially it's a very accessible one, it's like, I guess there's many different ways that you could be helping people, but it's a really easy way to get your foot in the door in like volunteering and service. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I would have to say that what really drew me to Habitat is that not only do you get to work with volunteers and experienced construction staff like we have, but actually getting to work alongside potential and future homeowners in a house that may not be theirs, and just kind of getting to learn along with them and teach them is really powerful. So that
Nice.
was something that just really drew me to Habitat as well.
Good. I love that. So I think that's good on talking about your your term so far with and your time with Habitat. I think that was a good way to show people how invested you've been over the last couple of months. Because now we're going to talk about Women Build Week, which is taking place next week. And usually, you've probably heard me talk about it a little bit on Coffee Break, or maybe you've been a longtime volunteer involved with Women Build, or you've seen it. Usually we do a lot of volunteer events, and we do a huge luncheon, and we really, really have a chance to highlight all of the wonderful women in our organization, which I think is very important to do. Um, but I take a lot of pride in, and I know a lot of our staff takes pride in the fact that representing the ladies of our organization almost comes second nature. Um, the average representation in construction for women is about 15%, and a decent amount of that 15% is administrative. Whereas with Habitat Newburgh, our ladies represent about 48% of our workforce, our volunteer force, and that correlates directly to site work, construction site work primarily. So um, it really is kind of second nature to us. But even though it's second nature, we think it's very important to highlight the wonderful work our ladies do year round for us. So to that point, another thing I wanted to touch on is that Women Build Week is it's a national thing. It's a national thing that habitats across the country highlight. It's a week long a week long event. But Habitat Newburgh, we have a Women Build house going pretty much year round. We haven't selected one yet, but we're up to our ninth Women Build. So it's just something we always have. It's always ongoing, and I can't wait to start that next project, because that means I get to hang out with all the fun all of my fun volunteers on site again. Uh, so Gabby, I guess what I want to ask you next would be, as a woman that's been working with Habitat Newburgh for the last, you know, 6 months or so, what does being a woman in our organization mean to you?
I would say it means everything to me in terms of, um, I get to do something that I never really thought I would get to do for an entire year, in a position where, I'm called a construction crew leader. Because I got my degree in education and I was ready to go into the classroom, and then the pandemic happened, and I kind of got thrown for a loop and thinking about, what demographic of students do I want to serve, where is my service as an educator needed most, but where is my service as a volunteer needed the most. And in the midst of the pandemic, I was doing my student teaching, and so I really got to see the importance of having a safe place to live and having an affordable place to live, where you're able to just be in a room and do your work for a day when you don't have the ability to go to school because of whatever extenuating circumstances. So for me, being a woman in this organization means progress in a sense, I think, because I feel comfortable every day on site. I feel more confident day by day. And I feel more capable for, once I leave Habitat Newburgh, that I'll be able to help others and instruct others. But more than anything, I think that being a woman has meant that I feel represented from the women volunteers I've gotten to work with, and from all of the women volunteers that I have heard about and haven't gotten to work with, as well as all of the amazing women homeowners that I've worked with.
That, I felt like I was going to initially ask you like two or three other questions that you answered without me having to ask them. So I won't ask them. That's a wonderful response. And I'm glad that, I'm glad that we've made you feel represented um, and confident in your role with us. That's always our goal. Whenever we say that how do I say this? We um, we don't discriminate when it comes to volunteers on site. We invite everybody to come work with us. And when I say discriminate, I mean primarily experience wise. Again, we never like take anyone based on gender or race or anything like that, or experience. We take everybody. We want to work with everybody. We want to show everybody what we do, and we want to give everybody the tools to be able to help us achieve our mission. That's like the habitat thing. That's always what we're working towards. So um, it always is inspiring to see people that might not, you know, think that they'd be able to do work like this otherwise, and show them that you can. Anyone can. You can't do it until you do it. And so I'm glad that we could make you feel represented and confident in your role here. To repeat myself. So um, next week is Women Build Week, and we have a project set to release on Wednesday, March 10th. And so, Gabby, do you want to tell everybody what we will be releasing that day?
Yeah, so basically, since unfortunately we aren't able to be on site doing a women's build, myself and Tony Woody, a longtime volunteer of Habitat Newburgh, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today, we put together a DIY drywall repair clinic for you guys, where we took a video of us showing holes, patching holes, repairing holes with all of the supplies that you might need to fix anything around your house, any holes in your walls. And so on Wednesday, we'll play that video that myself and Tony recorded for you. And then we'll be able to open up the floor to you guys to ask questions, and hopefully we can give you some good answers.
Um, cool. So, speaking of videos, and Amy, don't start it yet. We were trying to come up with a tell because there's a delay before the video actually starts. It's a 20-second delay, but I know I'm not going to be able to get all this out in 20 seconds. Speaking of videos, we uh, we thought it would be fun to include you guys on our trip to go and get some of the supplies for our DIY video. And we're also doing some kits, like some drywall repair kits to give out to some people that register for our Women Build Week event. So we had to go get the supplies, and I guess everyone in the office thinks Gabby and I are pretty funny, so they they made us record it. Well, we agreed. They didn't make us, but we agreed to record it. But before the video plays, I do want to shout out a couple people. I want to shout out Alex, our other AmeriCorps member who's not on this call. Alex edited this video, and I was petrified about how it would come out, but I did cheat and watch the video beforehand, uh, and I thought it came out pretty okay. It's I know Gabby expressed this to me, and I also, uh, you know, I definitely agree with this mindset. We don't really like being on camera. So we never feel comfortable, and we're always afraid that it came out poorly, but I think we did okay. There are two other people that, well, I guess sponsors that I want to thank, because these sponsors make our Women Build Week creativity possible. One of which is Lowe's. Lowe's is a national Women Build Week sponsor, and we partner with our local Lowe's in Newburgh, generally for team builds and things of that nature when it pertains to Women Build Week. So that's actually where we got all our supplies, and where the video was shot was at the Lowe's in Newburgh. And then I would also like to shout out Hudson Valley Credit Union. It's so hard for me not. They took the federal out of their name. It's so hard for me not to say it. It's really funny because if you talk to employees, they do it sometimes too. They'll still say, or they'll be like, "Oh no, no more F." But Hudson Valley Credit Union is a supporter, a local supporter of our Women Build Week antics, and so we can't thank them enough. So Amy, if you want to start it, I'll thank everybody for watching the video. So stay tuned for about 20 seconds, and you'll see our trip to Lowe's. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed filming it. And here we go.
We didn't map out this route, so we are just making our way through the store to whatever our first supply item will be.
Looks like aisle 7.
Okay, aisle 7.
Cutting knives, scrapers, tape.
Okay. Putty knives and tape, very important to the drywall patching mission. I guess I also should have mentioned that we are wearing Women Build Week shirts. See Lowe's. Gabby's got hers on too, and Gabby's also sporting the Women Build Week Lowe's mask. Nice. So we're all geared up. I love these shirts, they're super comfortable. They have like a cool arm logo that I can't get to. Sorry. I'm a sucker for an arm sticker. So if you're ever getting me a shirt and it has something on the arm.
Is this enough? We take all of them?
Actually,
What if we mess up?
yeah, no, it might be important. Yeah, this is perfect.
You're taking them off?
Okay, so one thing that's not going to be included in the kit, but you're probably going to need for this project is one of these. That's to score your drywall. If you're patching with drywall, you can also patch with, they make like individual patches that you can just putty over, which are better for smaller holes, which will also be explained in the actual DIY video.
The great spackle debate.
Surface must be clean. Apply with
Oh,
clean.
well, while we're deciding, I don't think we'll be including this in the kit either, but we have the wall repair patch that I mentioned earlier. Ooh.
Look it, and you could even get your own little kit if we didn't already make one for you. Well,
Sanding box, ideal for sanding joint compound off the drywall. I think this is our best bet. Probably. Yes, correct. We had our off-camera tape discussion. As much as we would love to give everybody their own individual roll of tape, that would be a little expensive for us. So what we will do is we will buy a roll and divvy it up into the kits that we are providing. So we're going with yes, a drywall joint tape. It's mesh. Legends tell that mesh tape is a little easier to work with than paper tape. I will, full disclosure, that did not come from me. I didn't know that, but we're all learning together. So
we don't have our drywall yet. We haven't found it. But when we get it and when we apply it, we are going to need drywall screws, coarse drywall screws if we're going into wood, fine threaded drywall screws if we're going into metal. Gary, do you think this bucket is enough for my repair?
definitely,
Do I need 2?
to be safe.
Okay. Want to help us fix the drywall? Do you want to help us?
Is that what you're doing? Fixing drywall?
Do you want to help us?
Yeah, so, update on our drywall situation. They don't have any 2x2 squares of patch drywall. So, we won't be showing you that. But, we are just about to wrap up our Lowe's adventure. So we wanted to say thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, cool. Do you want to say thank you for joining us, Alex?
Thanks.
Okay, and so we're going to check out, we're going to wrap up, and make sure you tune in next week, March 10th, for our live coffee break, which we'll talk about Women Week, and then the actual DIY video and questionnaire will be taking place at 1 p.m. that same day. So March 10th at 1 p.m. for the DIY video. Take care, everybody.
Women Build Week, guys.
Woo! Yes.
Okay, so just to build off of what past Gary said, you should all join us next week, Wednesday, March 10th. Join us normal time for a coffee break. There will be a special coffee break that day, and then join us at 1 p.m. that same day, Wednesday, March 10th, for our DIY video. And with that, I think that wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed our Lowe's adventure. Gabby, thank you for being a good sport and answering all my questions and dealing with me in all matters of habitat life. And also thank you, Amy, for being available as our tech person and supporting us through this. I mean, this is all new for us, so this has been kind of a fun creative adventure, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do you guys want to say goodbye?
Goodbye. Thank you for tuning in.
And I'm just going to add that you can view Coffee Break, which is going to be at 10 a.m. next Wednesday. It's a little earlier than usual. You can just hop on either Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Again, Gary mentioned this stuff is all new to us. So thank you so much for your patience and seeing me pop on Facebook Live a few times before we actually got the real one to go. So thanks for your patience. And we are trying to bring let you all into what it's like to be a habitatter on a regular.
Yeah,
Well, tune in next week and we'll see you then.
thanks everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.